بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم وصلی اللہ علی النبی الکریم رب اشرح لی صدری ویسر لی امری واحلل عقدۃ من لسانی یفقہوا قولی. The topic for this evening is moral values in Islam. Now, what is the definition of moral values? Moral values means social values, living with right conduct among other people, in your family, in your neighborhood, as well as in the vast ocean of humanity. So, adhering right conduct in the society, that is moral values. So, this is the subject for this evening. Now, I have studied almost all the major religions. I found that there are two different aspects of every religion, especially revealed religion. What are those two aspects? One is its belief system, the belief system of a religion. Then the other aspect is its moral system or ethical system. So these are two basic aspects of any religion. According to my study, there are differences in belief system. For example, Buddhism is a religion, but it is a godless religion. Then Christianity is a religion, but Christianity, according to the Christian Church, they believe in Trinity, that is three God. Although they don't speak three God, they say Trinity. But Trinity means God is three. Then there is Hinduism. Hindu people believe in numerous gods, not a single God. And in Islam, according to Islamic belief, God is one. There is no God but one God. That is Tawheed. So there are so many differences in belief system of different religions. But as far as the ethical system is concerned or moral system is concerned, there is no basic difference between this religion and that religion. Almost all the religions preach the same value system, same moral values. So, in this sense, Islam is not an exception. Islam also preaches the same value system as it is preached by other religions. For example, every religion preaches truthfulness, peace, tolerance, honesty, love, compassion. So all these values are ingredient part of every religious moral scheme. So is the case of Islam. If you read Quran and Hadith, you will find that all these values are mentioned in the Quran and Hadith both. But there is a question. What is the rationale behind these moral values? For example, Christianity says, love your enemy. It is good. But why I love my enemy? Why? What is the rational basis? You know, man is a rational animal. Man always tries to reason out everything. So man, it is human nature. It is human nature. Man's mind, man's nature asks, why I love my enemy? Why I adhere all these value system? So here I would like to add that there are prerequisites before adopting value system. There are prerequisites. I mean that we first inculcate the spirit of values, then one will adopt all these values. Without inculcating the spirit, which I call prerequisite, no one is going to adhere all these value system. So this is prerequisite. So one is, what are those moral values? What is the list of those moral values? Then the other question is, why I adopt all these values? So it is prerequisite of moral values. I think that Islam gives us these prerequisites. Islam gives us all those things that are required to inculcate in human mind as a prerequisite. Here I would like to give some detail. For example, Jesus Christ has said, love your enemy. This is also preached by Islam. Islam, according to Islam, we are required not to differentiate between friend and an enemy. As far as the good conduct is concerned, as far as the social conduct is concerned, as far as the moral conduct is concerned, we are required not to differentiate between enemy and friend. But there is a question, why I love my enemy? I would like to say that love your enemy means save yourself. Love yourself. Why? When you love your enemy, you are saving yourself from being victim of distraction. Enmity means distraction. Hate means distraction. If your neighborhood, if there is a person in your neighborhood who provokes you, for example, if a neighbor provokes you and you become angry, so angry means, what means anger? Anger means deviation. Anger means distraction. You are busy in something, you are busy in study, you are busy in dawah work, you are busy in reciting the Quran, and then you become angry. So if you are angry, you are unable to continue your work. Anger disturbs your mind. Anger disturbs your soul. Anger, when you are angry, you are unable to devote yourself in a noble cause. This is distraction. This is deviation. This is wasting your time, wasting your energy. So when you are angry and you want to take revenge from your enemy, it means that you are wasting your time, you are wasting your money, you are wasting your energy. So there is a very well-known hadith. One of Prophet's companions asked, "O Prophet, give me a master advice by which I may be able to manage all the affairs of my life." Prophet said, "Don't be angry." I think that both the saying is one and the same. Prophet Jesus said, "Love your enemy." Prophet Muhammad said, "Don't be angry." Both are one and the same. Both are two aspects of a single principle. When you love your enemy, it means that you have refrained yourself from being angry, and when you have refrained yourself from being angry, it means that you are loving your enemy. So both are only one side of a single coin. So it means that when you save yourself from anger, enmity, then you are saving yourself. You are saving your money, you are saving your energy, you are saving your time. This is the rationale behind this teaching. So, love your enemy means save yourself, because there is no other option. There is no other option. Love your enemy means love all, even in negative situations. So when one shows enmity against you, but you keep patience, you ignore it, you inculcate in yourself positive thinking, it means that you have saved yourself from victim of negativity from the other side. So when you understand this point, that when I love my enemy, I am loving myself, I am saving myself, I am saving my energy. This is the rationale behind this moral teaching. So without keeping this in your mind, you cannot adopt this moral principle. So this is the prerequisite. Here, prerequisite means that knowing the rationale behind a given moral teaching. Prerequisite here means knowing the rational basis of a given moral teachings. So if you understand this point, you can adopt these principles, because after knowing this, moral teaching, moral principles become your own need, your own requirement. It is needed for your own development. So we have to inculcate this kind of spirit, this kind of consciousness among people. Then they will be ready to adopt moral principles. Otherwise not. Simply giving a list of moral teachings is not enough. An institution asked me to prepare a book. They said that we will publish it in different languages by the title Moral Teacher, and we will introduce this moral teacher in hundreds and hundreds of schools. I said that this kind of book is not enough. If you publish a book with the title of Moral Teaching, in this book you can only give a list of moral principles. You will give a list of moral principles. But this kind of list is not enough. You have to train people. You have to inculcate in their mind the rationale behind those principles. And moral teacher is not enough. A book with the name of moral teacher is not enough. So it requires a continuous education. So I'm a great believer of informal education. You know, there are two kinds of education: formal education and informal education. I think that formal education is very important, very, very important, but it is not enough for moral education. Moral education requires informal education. Only through informal education we can inculcate the moral spirit among people. Formal education is enough for professions, for professional course. Formal education is enough for professional course. But as far as the moral character is concerned, it can be achieved only through informal education. So informal education must to build a moral society. If you want to build a society that is based on moral principles, you have to educate people in terms of informal education. It is only informal education, continuously. By informal education, I mean that training people through literature, through meanings, through literature, through meetings, through media, through papers, through magazines, through discussion, through dialogue. All these things are part of informal education. So it requires a continuous informal education to build a moral society. Otherwise, it is not possible. Then it requires positive thinking. Without positive thinking, you cannot have moral values. Positive thinking is prerequisite towards moral society. Now, what is positive thinking and why it is so important? You know, we live in a society. You cannot live in vacuum. You cannot live in an island as an alone person. You are compelled to live in a society. And you know, every member of society enjoys freedom. Freedom is given to every human being by nature, by God. You cannot abolish their freedom. So they have right for both, either to misuse or proper use. their, their freedom. It is their right. It is their choice. It is their own choice. So when they misuse their freedom, that creates problem. When someone misuses his freedom, it creates problem. All kind of problem, nuisance, so many things. So what to do? It is beyond your capacity to abolish the freedom of those people. So now you have only two choices. This is not choice. To abolish the freedom is not a choice. This is beyond your capacity. Then there are only two choices. Either to fight or to tolerate. Either you have to fight either you have to fight those people or tolerate. If you fight, then history shows that fighting always results negatively. You know, violence and war and fighting only give you some kind of negative result. Positive result can be had only through peaceful method and not violent method. No one was able to achieve positive result through violence, through fighting, through war. Even a even a superpower cannot achieve. Even a superpower cannot achieve positive result through war. No Napoleon, no Hitler, no Stalin, no George Bush. No one was able to achieve positive result through war or through violence. So it is a history. So if you opt for fighting, it means that you are opting that is greater evil for you. If nuisance was a lesser evil, then fighting is the greater evil. If problem was a lesser evil, if nuisance was a lesser evil, then fighting is a greater evil, because you will lose everything. So you have no option other than to adopt peaceful method. Peaceful method means to tolerate, to forgive, to keep patience. That is peaceful method. Peaceful method is not a passive attitude. It is an active attitude. It is very important to know that peaceful method is not, it is very, very important to know that peace is not a cowardice, it is not a passivity, it is a bravery, it is a wisdom. Because you have to see the result. always you have to see the result. When you compare violent method and peaceful method, you will find that peaceful method yields positive result and violent method yields negative result. This is mentioned in a hadith. This is mentioned in a hadith. The Prophet of Islam has said, "Inna Allah yu'ti al-rifq ma la yu'ti al-unf." It means that God grants to non-violence what He does not grant to violence. It means that peaceful method is far more effective than the violent method in terms of result. Peaceful method is better than the violent method. When you judge the both in terms of result. So this is positivity. When you adopt positive thinking, when you train yourself in positivity, then you are able to adopt moral values in society. So it is good to give people a list of moral principles. But this kind of list cannot do anything. This kind of list cannot do anything. Before giving the list of moral values, you have to inculcate the spirit of positivity, spirit of tolerance, spirit of peace. Then people will find the rationale. Then they will find the rational basis. And you know, man is a rational animal. So when you address their nature of reasoning, everyone's nature is a nature of reasoning. So when you address the nature of reasoning, then they will be able to adopt these kind of moral principles, otherwise not. People generally preach moral values, they give a list of moral principles, but in vain. In vain. In no society you can find these moral values. Why? They provide the list, but they fail to provide the prerequisites. Then you see, Islam gives us a very, very important principle. That is, man lam yashkurin nas lam yashkurillah. This is also an item of prerequisites. Man lam yashkurin nas lam yashkurillah. It means that one who fails to acknowledge man, he will also fail to acknowledge God. one who fails to acknowledge man, he will also fail to acknowledge God. Why? Because acknowledgement or thanksgiving is a spirit. You cannot divide in the spirit. Cannot be spirit cannot be divided. So if there is a spirit of thanksgiving, a spirit of acknowledgement, then it will work on both the sides. When you are living in a man, when you are living in a society, then this spirit is bound to manifest. This spirit is bound to manifest. And then when you remember God, then again this spirit is bound to manifest. So spirit cannot be divided. Spirit are something which can be divided. So if someone fails to acknowledge man, it means that he is deprived of that spirit. So one who is deprived, that's his spirit. How he can acknowledge God? If he says Alhamdulillah, it is lip service. A man who fails to acknowledge man's service and he says Alhamdulillah, it means that his Alhamdulillah is nothing but lip service. Because he is proving that when he fails to acknowledge man, he is proving that he is deprived of thanksgiving spirit. In such a situation, when he says Alhamdulillah, it means nothing but that it means that it was nothing but lip service. So here is the question: why we acknowledge God and why we acknowledge man? Why? It also requires rationale. I have found the answer in Quran and Hadith. You know, in this world, we are living between two bounties, between two helping systems. One is natural support system, and the second is civilizational support system. By natural support system, I mean sunlight and this planet Earth and water and mountain and air and oxygen and food and all those things which are necessary for our livelihood, for our life. So this is natural support system. Who has provided this? It is God who has provided this. So natural support system reminds us the bounties of God. When we enjoy sunlight, when we enjoy fresh air, when we enjoy food, when we enjoy water, we remember God. So there are millions and millions of things that is natural support system. Every leaf of a tree is a part of that natural support system. So this nature support system reminds us the blessings of God. We feel that if there were no water, no air, no sunlight, no food, then it was not possible to live in this planet Earth. So when we think about nature support system, we inculcate in ourselves thanksgiving towards God. So we acknowledge God, oh God, you have given us all these things. Otherwise, it's not possible for us to live in this world. So, remembering about nature support system is important to present thanksgiving before God. So this is the rationale behind shukr or acknowledgement or thanksgiving. When we think about nature support system, we experience a thrilling experience. We find a thrilling experience. When we think about all these natural support systems, we are filled with thrilling experience. And then we say, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. This Alhamdulillah is not a lip service. This kind of Alhamdulillah is not lip service. It is acknowledgement in true sense of the word. It is acknowledgement in true sense of the word. It is thanksgiving in true sense of the word. It is shukr in true sense of the word. Then you know we have civilizational support. All those things we use like dress, like glass, like building, like road, like motor car. All these things are contribution of civilization. What is civilization? Civilization is a joint human effort. You know, man invented wheel. Man invented wheel. Before wheel, there was nothing. Man was compelled to walk on his legs. Then man invented wheel. Then there were cart, there were horse cart, bullock cart. Then after a great effort, man invented motor car, aeroplane, and rockets, all those things. So after several thousand years, man was able to invent all these things. Now we enjoy all these things. So here we can see that what is the civilizational support towards my life. This civilizational support is necessary for me to live in this earth. My dress, my furniture, my house, my car, all these things are contributions from civilization. So when I think about this civilizational support, civilizational contribution, My heart is filled with thanksgiving towards humanity. I acknowledge humanity. With, then it makes me to live in society with, with love, with peace. It inculcates in my heart well-wishing. I become a I become a friend of all those people. So when I remember this civilizational support, I am ready to live in a society with compassion, with, with peace, with tolerance, with love. This is rationale behind this good conduct. So when I think about natural support system, I remember God. I present my shukr before God. And when I remember civilizational support, I acknowledge the contribution of humanity towards my life. And when I feel and when I remember this contribution, I make myself able to live with positivity in a society. I make myself live in a society with love, with tolerance, with peace. So this is the rationale behind good conduct, good social conduct. It requires a rational basis to adopt good conduct. If you want to make people live with moral values, you have to address their mind, their rational mind. Otherwise, it's not possible to build a better society. Then Islam gives a very, very important, then Islam gives a very, very important thing. That is incentive. This you can find only in Islam. Incentive towards good conduct. Incentive towards good conduct. And why I live in a society with good conduct? Why I live in a society as a giver member? Why I live in a society as a peaceful member? Why? Because it makes me able to receive the blessing of God in terms of paradise. Islam gives us a very, very important incentive, motivation, that if you refrain yourself from misusing of your freedom, if you keep patience, if you love your enemy, if you keep tolerance, if you adopt honesty, if you adopt all those good conduct, good social conduct, then God promises that He will give us His great blessing, that is eternal paradise. So this belief provides a great incentive, great motivation. It is very important. Without incentive, one cannot do anything. Incentive is a must for every human being, for men and women both. All the activities in this world are based on incentive, in motivation. All those industrial activities, all those civilizational activities, all those activities you see around you, that are based on incentive, on motivation. People believe that by doing this, we can find something better. So they try to do. So here, if you do a business, there is an incentive that you will achieve money. If you do a job, there is also a motivation that you will receive a good salary. So is the case of moral values. According to Islamic belief, according to the Islamic belief, you will be rewarded for your good conduct. In the very first chapter, you read Malika Yawmiddin. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Malika Yawmiddin. Lord of the Day of Judgment. Lord of the Day of Judgment. It means that one day you will be in the world hereafter. Then you will meet your God. And if you keep all these good conducts, all this good behavior, then God will reward you in terms of paradise. So in Islam, there is a very powerful incentive behind moral conduct. In Islam, there is a very, very powerful incentive, powerful motivation that if I will do good in the society, I will find great, great blessings from God in terms of eternal paradise. Paradise is eternal. In paradise, there is eternal bliss, eternal happiness, eternal pleasure. So this is a strong incentive. Islam provides an incentive, a motivation. It was this contribution of Islam that Islam was able to establish a better society. First time in the world history. For example, let us take equality. Equality is a very, very important value, important social value. To treat everyone on equal basis. It is very, very important. Equality is a very, very important value. And historians have acknowledged that Islam was the first in history was able to establish equality in the society. For example, well-known Indian scholar Swami Vivekananda has said in one of his letters that if ever any religion approached to this equality, it is Islam or Islam alone. Islam was the first religion who successfully established a society based on equality. Why? Because of this incentive, because of this motivation. So I would like to say that as far as the list is concerned, list of moral principles, there is no basic difference between this religion and that religion. List is one and the same. But as far as the prerequisite is concerned, Islam is the only religion that provides these prerequisites. According to my study, Islam is the only religion that provides this kind of prerequisite that is necessary to establish moral values in a society. According to Islam, man was born as an eternal being. Every man is eternal. Every human being is eternal. But his life is divided into two parts: pre-death period and post-death period. Our life is divided into two parts: pre-death period and post-death period. Death does not mean the end of our life. No. So, according to Islamic belief, both periods of life are very important to each other. In this world, that is pre-death period, is a selective ground, and the next period of life is the world where we will be given the reward. So this is a great incentive. In this world, we live with this mind that if we established our goodness in this life, we will be given paradise in this next life. So first life is a testing ground or selective ground, and the other part of life is the world of reward, world of paradise and hell. So this concept gives us a great incentive to live in this world with good behavior. If we adopted good behavior in this world, we will be given paradise in the next world. This is a great incentive. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم أجمعين.